with Mama T. Hey babies, it's Mama T back. It's tea time with Mama T. Hey babies, it's Mama T back with another one. You know, baby, there's a lot of talk going on about whether we indigenous or we African. We all know how that goes. But this is something to delve into a little bit more, okay? Because if everything we know comes from the United States government, we know they ain't nothing but a bunch of damn lies. What makes you think they ain't lying about this? Now, those who are calling themselves Native Americans, this ain't got nothing to do with you all the way. But those of you trying to say that we wasn't here, now you know that shit ain't true. So I'm going to play some clips. And I want y'all to open up your mind and think about this thing. Those of you who still on the fence and those of you who dead set against it, there's truth to this. And if we're at an age where everything is being uncovered, why don't you think this will be uncovered too? And, oh yeah, there's one more thing. Let me tell you something. Put my coffee down for this. I ain't trying to spill this. This little boy come over here on my comment section on the 60-second clip mark. You gonna give me a whole diatribe about how I'm losing trustworthy and I'm looking this and I'm better than this and that. Who the hell you think you is coming in my house, being self-righteous and judgmental, telling me about myself off of a 60-second clip? You ain't even watched the whole damn video. Let me tell you a little ass something. I'll invite you in my house. I'll let you even sit at my dinner table. Hell, you can sit on my couch. But don't you dare put your feet up on my coffee table. You think about that shit. All right, that's enough of that. I want to roll these clips for you babies, and y'all think about this, because it's something for you to think about. All of y'all talking all this, we ain't this, we ain't that. Listen to what these people have to say. And you come ahead and do your own research to find out what it is you might be missing. Okay? All right, y'all. Mama T. Y'all be good. Bye, babies.
As an Indian because of African descent? Or am I this color because this is the color of my ancestors?
Indian territory is tribes. Like, people be thinking Indians with the Pocahontas looking, that ain't how Indians look. They look like them people in New Orleans.
And all of them had each other's names tattooed on them. Wow. And this was when I was younger. I didn't understand it, but then when I started going to New Orleans, like, you know, on tour and shit.
We tried.
The way they are with each other, they love each other a different way than everybody else.
We're going to talk about the black Indians I met that are still alive.
No, go ahead. Let's talk about them. Go ahead.
In New Orleans.
Well, the truth to that lies with the anthropologists, if they tell the truth. Because as they dig into the grounds, they have found people, and they know they look like I look.
A few weeks ago, a guy was digging a pool in his backyard in the downtown area of New Orleans. See, New Orleans was smaller one time, and this area was country. And they hit 6 feet down, they hit a casket. Said, what's the casket doing here? It was a cypress casket. Cypress wood. Now, you know, when you dig down more than a foot or two in New Orleans, you're going to hit water. Cypress is a tree that's grown in a swamp. It does not rot. The cypress casket has been good for a few hundred years. They found black Indian inside with black artifacts, Indian ash artifacts. Okay? They said, well, let's dig north instead of that right here. They went north, the casket. South, hit them, east, hit them, west, hit them. We found that there's a graveyard, an ancient graveyard, that's almost a mile in north, south, east, and west, almost a mile apart, almost. And they found out that since when they weren't able to go any further laterally, like we dig graves, they started digging down, one on top of the other. And they have found so far 20,000 graves, black Indians.
Wow.
Okay? And this is about hit. It hasn't hit. This happened a few weeks ago. You haven't heard on news yet, but it's going to hit the news because it's going to leak out. They're hushing it right now.
Black Californians.
I bet you y'all in there know that this superhero Ray Chan
was actually inspired by this woman right here. For those of y'all that don't know, this is Queen Calafia, the mythical black Amazonian queen of ancient California. She commanded an army of black warrior women and a mythical creature called the Griffin. She was described as being black and beautiful, adorned with gold armor and gold weapons on a mythical island of ancient California outside of the terrestrial paradise of ancient Lemuria, which means the land of the blacks, just like California. Cali means black and Fornia means land. The state of California was named after Queen Calafia, and she's represented on their state seal, right, John? Queen Calafia is probably the same person as Queen Mu, the ancient queen of Lemuria, as they share a lot of similarities, including both of them are said to have left America and settled in North Africa. Queen Mu is said to be the creator of the Sphinx, and the reason why so-called Egyptian artifacts can be found in prehistoric America. Christopher Columbus also documented the black warrior women who were of Arawak descent living on the island of Martinique. These women could have also been the inspiration for the mythical Queen Calafia. So like I said in the beginning, this woman is based off of this woman. That's the gorilla in the room, plus ultra.
You can't handle the truth.
Taino were one of the largest indigenous groups in the Caribbean. Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, all of these islands and so many more belonged to the Taino people. Unfortunately, Europeans came and they brutally enslaved, extorted, and murdered these native people. However, the Taino are still with us today. Not just their culture and their language, but the Taino people are still with us. A 1565 census showed that there were only 200 Taino people living in Hispaniola, modern-day Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And so the Taino were declared extinct. By 1802, there wasn't one single indigenous person on the census records, but the Taino people weren't really extinct. Some natives survived because they ran off and they hid in the mountains. They formed vibrant communities there. Other natives married Europeans, and when they had children with the Europeans, were their children not Taino? Another phenomenon was that in 1533, when the Spanish monarchy decided to grant the native people freedom, a lot of the Spanish people didn't want to free their enslaved Tainos, and so they just marked them off on the census as African, because don't forget, that's when they started to replace Taino labor with black bodies from Africa. Today, historians call this a paper genocide. The Taino people disappeared on paper because the Europeans stopped counting them in their census. But the culture, the history, the identity of the Taino people persisted. Today, many of the Taino people are mixed with Spanish, African, and other cultural groups, but they are still fighting to have their ancestry recognized. In 2018, researchers compared the DNA from a 1,000-year-old tooth found in the Bahamas to the DNA of Puerto Ricans, and they found that 61% of Puerto Ricans carried the Native American mitochondrial DNA.
It's on. Now look, this is the actual Virginia Indian right here, or the cigar store Indian. This is not Pocahontas there. And look, I'm standing actually in front of it. Now, if you look down here, this is the actual plaque, right? Right here. So, this is what they never show you. So, you can go all the way up again. And this is what's all called field work when you actually go where you're from Virginia. So anybody showing this saying that it's Pocahontas Day is a lie. 100% a lie. So again, I'm NVA. This is it right here. Cigar Store India.
Referred to as their Trail of Tears for the many who died along the way. Now, nearly 200 years later, comes the $56 million payment from the federal government to compensate the tribe for those lost Florida lands. But the Black Seminoles can't share in it because the government and the tribe say they were slaves of the Red Seminoles back then, and as slaves could not have owned land. Joe Opala, who has worked to preserve their legacy, says that's wrong.
The Black Seminoles fought side by side, died, bled for those lands in Florida.
Those were some of the most fiercest fighters during the war.
During the Indian War?
Yes, due to the fact that they knew if they were recaptured, they were going into slavery.
Swords created in the late 1800s, which separated the tribe into the blood or red Seminoles and the freedmen or black Seminoles.
Why would you kill off the natives to bring slaves from across an ocean when you could have turned the natives into slaves? Especially when most slaves in human history were prisoners of war. Why would a people steal people they don't like from Africa, free them, just to oppress them forever just because they're brown skinned? Why didn't the U.S. government deport black Americans after they freed the slaves? Mexicans can be deported, but not the non-native black Americans you hate. If Native Americans were actually native, why didn't they fight for their rights on their own land during the civil rights movements with Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and Martin Luther King? Why didn't Native American leaders step up to be assassinated fighting for their rights on land that was stolen from them by the government? Why, for the past 500 years, the biggest enemy of the U.S. has been its own black American civilians and no one else? Why did the CIA cause the crack epidemic in the black community and no other communities? Why was the police created to catch only black slave runaways when there were other races enslaved along with black people? How does a small minority of a few thousand poor farmers from Europe have both the manpower and resources to enslave tens of millions of Africans? Bring them to the Americas while simultaneously committing genocide against Indians, Mayans, Aztecs, Incas, Caribbeans, and the entire South America. Colonizing Africa and fighting Africans all at once? If you believed your homeland was somewhere else, would you have a desire to overthrow the people in power? If all you have to be proud of is 500-year-old slave history, assassinated black leaders, and rap music, would you have anything to amount to? All this chaos is because of skin tone, right?
Good afternoon. How are you? My name is Principal Chief Betty Sprang Mink Smith. I am the Kituwa, the leader of the Alabama-Georgia Kituwa Society. We are the full-blooded ancient Kituwa people that live in this area and forever. And we were removed from our area in 1836 by some famous president of the United States, Kennedy, and his family. They did a fantastic job in removing us, and they expanded us all around 19 different colonies. So right now, I'm so grateful and so fortunate to know that I have all these months and years, I've been looking for someone that's standing up for Alabama side, which I'm from Alabama. I'm from Union Spring, Alabama. I'm a Ford and a Lynn from Union Spring, Alabama. And I would like for us once again to unify as the United Band of Kituwa people. We are peace-loving people, and we need to find that peace again and get rid of all the anger, because that's our Satan work by us being angry and unhappy. So we're going to be happy no matter what from this moment forward, because we are winning. Thank you.
So, Chief, I got one question for you. Explain about the Kituwa and how it encompasses all our people of color here in the Southeast, the Creeks and...
The Kituwa people is a united band of Kituwa people. Way before the Christopher Columbus and the colonizers decided they were homeless and broke, they needed to take a new land, our Kituwa people were already functioning as a Kituwa people before Christopher Columbus got lost and pretended he found us. But the Kituwa people are the original people that came out of Asheville, North Carolina, we call Cherokee, North Carolina. They're the Eastern Band. They were the spiritual religious band of the Kituwa Society. And their society came about as a result of the dissension that we had fighting amongst each other. So years ago, before the Mayflower, they had gone to the mountain. 3 of the chiefs went to the mountain. And they came back with the same message on 3 different occasions. We are the Kituwa people. That's what they heard the mountain god say. So they came back, and we were the Kituwa people. So what happened is we were the people that knew who we are, and we know that we know how to survive. So they pushed us all the way from Virginia. Pretend that we were so fantastic. They did business with us until 1890. and they did business with some of us. So the Kitawa people were the free men. They gave us the illusion that we were free. So 5,000 of us were on the Henderson Road that was listed as another special road. They kept putting special situation for us and keeping us on, because we're keeping us off family, because we're spiritual. We can pray about these things. Long story short, the Kitawa people are the black, full-blooded Native American from Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all from Virginia. And we are the people, and we're about to claim our inheritance and our culture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief. That's it.